Hi everyone, welcome to UTV Gooner and our show, The Shooting Lone Star, with Ram from the Austin Gooners. Hi bro, how are you?
Hey man, what's going on? It's good to see you, man. Hell of a restart, right, to the campaign, and I'm excited, man. Couldn't be more excited. I'm ready to keep on rolling.
Yeah,
How was
bro.
the game?
Yeah, bro. It's so great to have Premier League action again. Watching our boys in our stadium. We won again. Won every game this season at the Emirates. It was looking a bit shaky at half time. I was a little worried,
Hmm.
you know, going 1-0 down to a penalty. We were playing well in that first half, though, and we were controlling the game, but unfortunately, we gave that penalty away. But the way we came out in the second half, it was amazing to see. Just we upped the level. West Ham couldn't handle us, got 3 goals, comfortably won the game. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, I mean, I might feel a little bit differently from you in saying that I was not worried at all. Like it was kind of annoying to go down 1-0 to what I thought was a real penalty. But I thought even up to that point, like we were dominating possession. We had great chances. I mean, we had that. Oh man, I really wish we weren't offsides on that very first goal that got called off. I think it was Saka ended up scoring, but just the way we were playing, like it just looked, we just came out firing, and I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Um, and then I think the only critique I had in that first half was we were definitely trying to be too cute inside the box and just kind of tap it in basically. And I just kept saying like to myself and to people around me, like, we just need to fucking shoot, like just shoot the ball. And good stuff will happen. And, granted, we did get a penalty overturned by VAR and that was right. Like it hit the guy in the head, but we all thought it was handball at first. Um, but I was like, I immediately texted my buddy. I was like, see, this is what happens when you shoot. Like stuff happens. You get a deflection, you get a handball potentially. Um, so I was just like, yeah, even though that wasn't a penalty, we didn't get lucky for that one. Like it was fine. Like, we went to half, and I was like, that's fine. Like we'll be okay. Um, and then of course my confidence was rewarded. Within the first 10, 15 minutes, and we knocked in 2 goals amazingly. And then Eddie and Kedia came through. Our entire front three attackers scored. So it's just like a storybook game, man. Like I don't know how much more perfect it could have been. Maybe if we had that goal, maybe if it was a 4-1 victory. Um, but it was great, man. And yeah, I'm just so excited. It was magical, and like everything I'm reading about it was, everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Like it was a magical way to start the season again. And yeah, like we've got all the momentum going forward.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of questions we know people are saying that how are we going to come back after the World Cup break? We have this injury of Gabriel Jesus. How are we going to handle that? And we answered it perfectly. We're in such great form before that World Cup, and it was a long break for the World Cup. We've come back, carried on that momentum, and we looked so good. We've been looking good all season, and again now after this break, we've looked so good. And it was great to see Eddie get a goal as well. We know he's going to be getting some games now because Gabriel Jesus is injured. So it was great for his confidence. Hopefully that will help him to go now on a run of scoring goals in the games coming up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like a cool stat that I mean, I didn't verify it, but I mean, pretty sure it's true. But that was Eddie's 11th goal and 11 starts at home in the Premier League. So I mean, when he gets a chance, he can do it. And it's just he's never gotten consistency, right? Consistent starts. And to no knock on him, like I think we've just always had someone who's performed a little bit better than him. But then at the same time, like, this is his chance to really, really cement his place on the squad. I thought he did great in the first half. Outside of there was one open run that I don't know who knocked out a great pass to Bukayo Saka. Saka knocked it over him, and then he was just kind of like I think it was Xhaka. Xhaka knocked the ball out. Actually, I think it might have gotten to Eddie and Kedia straight away, and he had a run. It was 2-on-1. Him and Saka were kind of like next to each other, and there was one defender, and I thought the move he made was kind of weak. It was just like a shot that he tried to kind of just finesse, and it was just blocked easily by the defender. And there was a lot of people groaning in the bar, and I did the rewatch at home later, and like you heard like the stadium do a lot of groans as well. So it's like, you kind of want him to, like we were watching that saying like, come on, bro, like do better. But I thought everything else, like him holding the ball up and setting everybody up, and he's doing kind of the same things that Gabriel Jesus does. Maybe not as prolific as he is, because that has never been the kind of player he is, or maybe that's what he's developing into. Um, but then yeah, in the 69th minute, it was it was really nice to see him get a goal, and it was a brilliant goal too. Like it was amazing. Like I mean, he it's kind of like in basketball where you kind of back somebody up in the paint, and then you feel where their weight is, and you just take the ball and spin the other way and leave that guy like in the dust, and then he just knocked it into the opposite end, and it was just a beautiful like ending, right? And then ever since everything from that point on was just kind of like running the clock out, right? So um really excited for Eddie to continue, getting like he gets to consistently start, right? So we're, I'm anxious to see, he's not out of the wood in terms of, hey, it's time to prove it. Like he's got to do this consistently, but I still have faith in him, and everything he did in that performance has led me to like I haven't lost any faith in him. Even though he did struggle a little bit at points, overall, like I was happy with the way he performed.
Yeah, he was looking really sharp. One
Mhm.
great thing as well of this game was to see the return of Arsene Wenger. He's not come
Yeah.
since he left, and it was so good to see him again. What a legend we know he is, and great we got the win for him as well.
Yeah, and it was really cool, like, for me as a fan to kind of see how much they embraced him. And again, I like to point out to a lot of people whenever I talk Arsenal, like I didn't jump on the bandwagon. I didn't join and become a supporter until Unai Emery, like he became a manager, right? Um, so all like the kind of drama and all like the drama that surrounded Wenger's last few years as Arsenal manager, I've had to like kind of go back in time and kind of read about it, hear other people talk about it, kind of learn how it went down, and then just reading the stories about it, listening to the podcast of longtime fans talking about just how great it was to see. Like I can really truly appreciate how cool that moment was, because in the bar, yes, I was excited just because everyone around me was excited. I was like, oh yeah, like it's cool. I understand. I know he's a legend. I know what he did for the club. But now it's all just it's all part of the, I guess, the learning process of being a fan, right? Like I got to see yeah, just what he truly means to Arsenal, right? And I'm really excited to again continue watching highlights of teams that he managed and just learning about him. I know he's got like a book out. Like I'm looking forward to kind of purchasing that, giving that a read. And I know he has a documentary out that isn't available in the States just yet, which is kind of annoying, but um I think I found like somewhere I can get like a bootleg copy or something. But yeah, it was really cool to see that, and like the chants, there's only one Arsene Wenger. Like I thought that was really cool. The bar did the chant, we were doing it too. So it was a real storybook, again, a real storybook start to the season, or restart, I should say. Um, and it was perfect to kind of just kind of get the boys going again. And then seeing all the pictures of the players meeting him and all that good stuff. Like there's something special going on with this team, and I think that's just like added to the fire, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you a great book to get. It's made by a good friend of mine, Tony. It's called The Caviar and Sausages.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
It's all about the time of Arsene Wenger's years as a manager here, and great book. He's really put it into such a nice way of like being able to see from the first year Wenger was here right through every season. He's gone into detail of how each season went, And it's great as well with for kids. I want to, when my kids are older, I'll definitely get them to read it because it's got a lot of pictures as well and graphics, graphs to help explain things even better. So yeah, really a good book, that one. No, yeah, so brilliant for us. Got the win that we really wanted. Went 8 points clear. Well, sorry, 7 points clear because Newcastle had won, but 8 points to the Man City. They did come back and win yesterday, though. Good performance for them beating Leeds. Leeds had a lot of injuries, though, so it was, yeah, kind of expected. Man City coming back after that loss against Brentford as well. We knew they were going to come back with a response. So they've closed the gap back up to 5 points. During that, the last round of fixtures, every team apart from Tottenham won. So
Hmm.
all the team being in the top 6, 7, they all won except Tottenham. Great
Yeah.
result for Brentford. Well done to Brentford. But yeah, what are your thoughts on some of the rest of the key fixtures that happened in the last round?
Well, yeah, I'll start off with that Tottenham match, and we were texting on the WhatsApp, and yeah, I turned the game on, and it was 1-0. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna watch this. I woke up, that woke me up, and then they went up 2-0, and I was like, okay, like let's see what's up. And then Tottenham, you know, I'll give them credit that they did kind of fight back, and they looked pretty strong in leveling it out, but uh especially when you're trying to finish top four or be in the race for any kind of title, like you can't fall behind 2-0 all the time and expect you to get lucky every single time. So um I think that just adds more evidence, at least in my view, that Tottenham are not for real this year. Like they're gonna eventually like run out of luck. And like again, I thought they got a little bit lucky to draw. Um So like it's very like I'm not worried about them at this point still, you know. Me and a buddy did go watch the Leeds City game, and I had high hopes that Leeds were going to pull off an upset. The first 45 minutes, they actually held their own. Um, even though City, as usual, had like 75% possession of the ball, their defense for Leeds was playing lights out. Um, that goalie, I can't pronounce his name correctly, so I won't try. But he was the man of the match for the first half for me, anyways. And then as soon as in the second half, or I think that's when it happened, um, they got the first goal, just basically just ambushing Leeds. Right, there was just so many City players in the box that a deflection just eventually landed and Rodri's feet, and he knocked it in, and I was just like, well, like that's it right there. And then sure enough, like they ended up just kind of totally collapsing. So, um, but I see like the way Leeds played them. I mean, Leeds plays everybody really good at home. Again, I was saying that for the first half of like I think Brentford provided a blueprint how to play them, and you just have to be able. I mean, it's one thing to know how to do it; it's another thing to execute. So I think again, they're a good team, but I think they're beatable, just like us. Like we're not invincible either. Um, so I think that they're going to be our main rivals moving forward. And Halan said it himself, right? I'm paraphrasing when he said, "What's like?" He's like, "Arsenal, like we have to hunt them. Like we're the hunted right now." So, um, not surprising at the results. But again, I think they're not invincible, and they're very beatable. So I think that bodes well for us because I think we're playing with again, we got a spark going on. There's a little bit of magic going on, and so I think hopefully we can maintain it. We're gonna have a tough stretch of games coming up, but I'm pretty excited. And then everything else, yeah, kind of fell according to plan. Nothing really notable, um, other than like I think Forest sucks. Nottingham Forest couldn't step up and do anything against United. It was annoying. And then yeah, everybody else kind of ended up winning. So yeah, I mean those two matches were the notable ones, but we move forward, man. It's on to the weekend, and we got some really exciting ones coming up.
Yeah, for sure. On to the next one. It's Brighton up for us. Before we talk about though, so we're going to talk about the transfer news. So being strongly linked to Mudryk. And we are talking before we started to film about some of the stuff he's been posting online. Seems like he's really keen to move to us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. As I mentioned, yeah, I noticed he did post a video on Instagram, like on his stories of him watching the West Ham game. Uh, just kind of dropping hints. I mean, he's a young kid, right? Like these 21-year-olds, like they're very in tune with how social media works, and that's how he's sort of communicating his desire to want to come. And he's made it clear, like he wants to come to Europe, right? Early on, right? He was just like he would love to come to Europe, like that's the challenge, that's the dream. And then at this point, because it's Arsenal, like he's making it clear, like yes, he wants to come to Arsenal. In addition to that, I think it's already expired, but he did post another story of like of him. It was some kind of like transfer market page that basically posts graphics of what players are worth on the market or how they estimate it. And so he posted one, or he shared one of himself, where they said that he was worth 40 million. And this is around the same time that reports came out that his club rejected Arsenal's initial bid of what 60 million total, right? So he's putting it out there that he wants to come. So I think that's going to help us out the long run. Like I think that'll maybe discourage other teams from trying to step in because the player already is like, I want to go to Arsenal, and I think that's going to hopefully hurt uh, the team that he plays for. What is it, Shakhtar? Hopefully, it hurts their hardball that they're trying to play, and it's like, look, your player doesn't even want to stay there. Like your player wants to come here, so like let's get this done, right? So hopefully it happens. We'll see. As far as anybody else, like I don't know. I know we've been mildly linked with Joao Felix, who's over at Atletico Madrid. Um, but I think that's more of like still in the early phases. But our name is in the hat for like a loan move, maybe, which I think would be pretty cool. Like I think that would be a good move because they also want like a ton of money for him. So maybe a loan move with a potential to buy like would be kind of cool. But I think first things first, I think someone like Mudrik, um, I think that's the one that's gonna gather most of my attention because that's the one that's like I from all accounts, like it seems like Arsenal want to get this done and get it done quickly, which is great news for us. So maybe whether it gets done or not, we'll know soon enough. Like, hey, we don't want to be going back and forth and wasting a bunch of time. Like, let's get this done and let's get going because we got a title to win. You know what I mean? And so we'll see what happens, man. But I think it looks. I think I'm pretty excited to just kind of see everything pulled out. So we'll see what happens. You know?
Yeah, for sure. We want to try and get it done early in January. We've got a lot of games coming out, some big games, and the more players we can have the squad, the better it is, as we know. So looking forward to seeing how the January transfer window goes. So next up is Brighton. Difficult game. We know they're a good team. They've had a great season. They just won their last game against Southampton 3-1. It's difficult going to their ground. It's going to be a game where we're going to have to be a top form to get the win. But we're
Mm-hmm.
playing so well. We go there so confident. Looking at how we've been performing going to difficult grounds away this season. You've seen that from the start, first game away at Crystal Palace, very difficult ground to go to. We went there, shut them down, comfortable 2-0 win. Been to places like Brentford, same thing, Wolverhampton, Chelsea as well. That was a great performance. Didn't really give them any chances. There's only 1-0, but it could have been a lot more as a comfortable win. So we know we're performing really well in these sort of games, which you would normally look at and say they are difficult. But I am very confident. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I share your confidence, but I'm also a little bit worried. Again, just based off like how everything has gone in recent history with Brighton. They're at least recent history, as far as I'm concerned, like they're a difficult match, right? That this fixture last year was a nil-nil draw in really ugly weather. Um, Brought us down to earth a little bit after we kind of bounced back from being I think this is when we were like down to 15th in the table. We went on a run of wins, started to feel ourselves a little bit, went into Brentford or Brighton and finished nil-nil. So it was all like, oh, like, okay, maybe we're not this really hot team, but it's a new year. new season or whatever, I do feel confident. I'm just definitely worried um, that it's just going to be one of those games that that we'll be like biting our fingernails towards the end. They are missing a lot of good players like Moises Caicedo, who played for Ecuador in the World Cup. He's out on suspension, and then McAllister for Argentina, he's still out. I guess until the third, just because they went all the way to the final, won it. He's probably still hungover, so he's not going to play. And they got a couple of other injuries. Danny Welbeck is doubtful. Like, who knows if he's going to do it. So yeah, they do have somewhat of a depleted squad, but what I'm worried about is now they can score some goals. They got this new manager, so like look like they're going to be they're on like a little bit of a hot streak a little bit. But we'll see. Yeah, look, the last game we played, I mean, we did play them in the Carabao Cup. They did beat us 3-1, but we didn't have a lot of our starters. It almost felt like we didn't really necessarily try to win that match, although you won't hear from the players or from Arteta. Um, but yeah, this is going to be a difficult one, and I think we'll end up winning a close like 2-1 match, but um, ultimately, like kind of like we did with West Ham, I think we're going to be dominant toward the end. And again, I want to stick with this theme. Like there is some magic with this squad. Um, I don't think we're going to lose it. Worst case scenario, we may draw, but still, we'd still be top of the table. I feel really confident in this team, confident enough to where I'll say, you know what, I think we'll pull off uh, like a 2-1 win. We got a bunch of great players playing at the top of their game right now, so we'll see what happens. What do you think?
I'm really confident. There's a big difference in our team this season compared to the recent seasons where we're just able now, we're confident going away from home. We've seen we struggle sometimes in these sort of games, but just we're so confident now. The defense is so strong. So I'm confident we're going to shut them down as well and get a clean sheet. I'm going to go for 2-0 in that one. So as usual, talk to you about some of the other games that are coming up in this next round of fixtures. So some of the key fixtures it actually gets underway tomorrow. We've got a couple of games tomorrow. The Liverpool Leicester game first. Thoughts on that one?
Leicester. Oh man, Leicester got pounded by Newcastle. I think it was right. Yeah, like three. They were down 2-0 within the first. I don't know, like 10 minutes. That team is down in the dumps, man. They're what in 13th place. They're struggling. I don't think they're gonna put up much of a fight. I kind of hope they do. I don't want Liverpool to get on any kind of run. They're still a team that I'm worried about, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not very feeling very confident. I'll say that. I'll just end it by saying that. I think Liverpool will end up winning that one comfortably, probably like 2-0. Yeah, Leicester City is just down in the dumps right now. Poor guys.
Okay, and then on New Year's Eve, same day, we're playing the early game of that one is Wolves versus Man United.
Well, Wolves, man, they ended up winning a last minute match against, I don't know who their last match was against. Everton. It's 1-1. I was watching that game. They came back and scored another goal. It was a brilliant goal. Good team goal. Um, they got a lot of injuries still. Um, I'm not too. I'm still not too confident in Manchester United. I think United overall is going to still be on sort of a bounce because they got rid of Ronaldo. So I'm a little bit like hesitant in saying that that they're going to come out and play bad. Um, Wolverhampton is playing at home, and I think they'll be able to steal some points off of them. So I'm looking at a draw. I think it'll be 1-1, a very ugly 1-1 draw, but it'll be great for us. I think United will drop points on New Year's Eve.
Okay, and Man City have got Everton.
Oh, I don't see Everton. Even though they did play Wolves tough, I don't see Everton keeping up with City. City is as even though I'm saying that they are very vulnerable, they're also very dominant. Um, so I think City wins this one comfortably, 2-0.
Okay, and I'm gonna put them in there because they are right up there in third place at the moment. Newcastle, they're having a great season, so they have got Leeds at home.
Leeds. See. I feel like Leeds plays good at home. Uh, Newcastle also plays good at home, and this is at Newcastle's stadium, St. James's Park, right? So um, I think it'll be a close one. We'll say 2-1.
Okay, then on New Year's Day, Tottenham are playing against Aston Villa.
Oh, Villa, new manager. I don't know if they're gonna ever bring back Emilio Martinez. I heard some whispers. I don't know if you might have heard that Unai Emery and him kind of went back and forth, or at least are in different pages because I think he said he was gonna like speak to him about the way he was celebrating his World Cup win. You know, with all the nonsense he was doing. I don't know exactly how well they got along when both of them were at Arsenal. Um, so I've yeah some whispers like they're kind of moving on from him, which is kind of insane because like I mean this guy just won you the World Cup. I mean I'm pretty sure he's going to be good for you. So we'll see what happens with all that. But anyway, like I think Villa plays tough. I'm not very I'm not very I guess confident in Tottenham still. They got a couple of injuries. I think Bentancur is still out. Richarlison is still out for a while. Um, but again, ultimately, they still have Harry Kane out there. That guy just figures out a way to score goals. I think Tottenham wins, but it's not a very pretty one. I think it's like 1-0.
Okay, and Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea.
Uh, I don't know. I can't judge Nottingham Forest. I don't know how to like predict them because they're 19th in the table. They've won. They beat Liverpool once, right? I mean, they played nice at home. Chelsea, man, they got a lot of injuries going on. Um, but I think they're gonna ultimately win. I don't think it's gonna be 2-0, but I don't think it's gonna be as dominant as a 2-0 looks. I think Chelsea will struggle for most of the game because I don't think they're very good right now. Um, but they'll end up winning just because I don't think Nottingham Forest has enough. Much like the Leeds and City game, right? They'll play them tough, but I don't think they have it in them to compete for 90 minutes. And I think they'll ultimately lose the game.
Okay, so before we do our next show, we will be playing one more game. It's against Newcastle at home. So I wanted to
Ooh,
get your thoughts on that one. Big
yeah.
game, as we were just saying, they're having a great season. They're right up there in third place. We saw when we played them last season, we really need to beat them, and they played so well, played us off the park. We really struggled against them. That was at their ground. This one's here at our place. We're much better this season compared to them as well, but they're better too. So it's going to be a great game. What's your thoughts?
I mean, you look at their run of games. They are on a hot run, just like we are. So it's going to be what do they like to say? It's going to be a cracker of a match. Like it's going to be incredible. I'm excited. I might just have to like get the day off or at least the afternoon off from work to watch it. Not being bothered. But yeah, man, that's the one I'm worried about. That's the fixture that sort of that's the one, right? I'm gonna have to say that's the one that crushed our hopes for top four. I think after that, we needed like a miracle to happen on the final day of the season. But against Newcastle is where we really looked bad. They beat us 2-0 at Newcastle, but we beat them in that fixture at home in November of last year. Um, yeah, we're a much better team. They're a much better team. It's going to be very exciting. Um, it's going to be really close to our match from Saturday, right? So we're going to have to do a quick turnaround and play another intense match. So I don't. I'm not going to say depending on how we look on Saturday is how we'll perform on Wednesday, but or Tuesday or whenever that happens. Um, So yeah, I think we're gonna do good, but I think it's gonna be close. I'm gonna say something like 2-1. Um, and I hope it's not like as close as that reads, right? Like hopefully we come up 2-0 and then we maybe give one away late You kind of have to hold them off. But they are a dangerous team. Miguel Almiron is playing out of his mind right now. But we have a lot of players playing out of their minds right now too. So I think ultimately we're better than them, and I think we'll beat them 2-1.
Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna be a close one as well. I'm gonna go 2-1, maybe 3-2. High score.
Yeah,
Great way to start the new year with a win against them, hopefully. So yeah, let's hope we get the 2 wins before I see you in the next show. Thanks for your time, bro.
yeah, man, my pleasure. Looking forward to talking to you again next week and talking about two Arsenal wins right before we go into the FA Cup. So yeah, man, thank you for meeting with me late, and yeah, come on, you Gunners, let's go, let's get these guys. Talk to you later, man.
Come on, Arsenal. So
Let's
that's all
go.
for us. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.